Welcome learners. In today's video lecture, we will be resuming to explore the development of effective rural communication. In previous lecture, we have majorly covered the factors affecting the rural communication. Now, we will learn about 7 key steps for effective rural communication. The very first step in developing effective rural communication is identifying and profiling the target audience. A deep, thorough understanding of whom you are trying to reach is absolutely essential. This aligns with the fundamental principle of marketing, knowing your customer. The communicator must be aware of the target audience's characteristics. Simply making judgment based on assumptions without solid facts can lead to ineffective campaigns. Attempting to use identical communication programs for different states without understanding their nuances would be risky. Profiling involves looking at demographic factors like age, gender, and religion, as well as crucial behavior and psychographic factors. This includes their roles in purchasing decisions, their specific needs and value propositions they seek, and their overall lifestyles. Many companies undertake these kinds of detailed profiling and probing activities before even conceptualizing their rural communication designs. Once the target audience and its characteristics are clearly defined, the second step is determining communication objectives. Here, the marketer or communicator must decide precisely what response they intend to evoke from the audience. While the ultimate goals are often purchase and satisfaction, the immediate communication objectives are about making the target audience more willing to buy. One of the most widely used model for understanding this progression in rural markets is the AICDA model. AICDA stands for awareness, interest, conviction, desire, and action. This model illustrates how a customer moves from a state of being unaware of a product to the final behavior of making a purchase. All effective communication must aim to capture the prospect's attention, awareness, cultivate their interest in what is being offered, build a strong conviction about the product or service, creates a genuine desire for it, and finally bring out a favorable action such as a purchase. Therefore, a marketer might focus on achieving one or several of these communication goals. Having defined an intended reaction from the ruler target audience, the communicator moves to the third crucial step, designing the message. Creating truly impactful messages is a significant channel for ruler communicators. A core principle is that the message must be meaningful to the ruler customer. To achieve this, several elements influencing the effectiveness of communications must be carefully considered. This include first, the language used, second, the use of pictorial presentations, third, the form of message, fourth, credibility of the source, and fifth, the association the message creates. We will explore each of this in more detail. First, on language. Messages should deeply reflect audience's culture and religion, taking into account local sentiments and important holidays. For instance, some companies have successfully integrated religious elements. Dabur, for example, included religious calendars and scriptures with its product, enhancing their appeal. Critically, communications must be clear, easily understandable, and delivered in a language that audience can readily use. Next is pictorial presentations. Rural audiences respond exceptionally well to visual communication because they are highly memorable and engaging. pictorial presentation elements such as signs, symbols, product design, packaging, size, shape, and color all help in creating a strong brand identity in the customer's mind. Studies confirm that visually dominant advertising dramatically increase brand identification and recall. A notable example is Lifebuoy Kumbh Mela campaign, where they provided stainless steel plates with an engraved hygiene message, easily reminding people to wash their hands before eating. This visual cue effectively reinforced the brand's message. Moving on to the form of message, rural customers generally prefer messages that clearly emphasize the visual benefits of a product can provide. Story-based advertisements and other narrative styles are particularly good at capturing attention and conveying values. It has been demonstrated that advertisements using such narrative approaches significantly improve both understanding and the level of engagement among rural viewers. The message source is equally critical, as the credibility of the message heavily depends on who delivers it. Rural consumers are influenced by three main types of sources. First, likable sources such as film stars portraying relatable characters. An example cited shows how an actor presenting a son of the soil image significantly boosted product sales. Secondly, trustworthy sources, including friends, relatives, and neighbors who have personally used the product. Their word of mouth can strongly influence purchasing decisions. Research highlights that a crucial interpersonal source is often someone who already owns the product and is seen as reliable. A third, expert source like local opinion leaders, for example, mechanics often guide bicycle purchases, while tailor might influence choice of sewing machines. The final element in message design we will discuss is association. Contextual associations are powerful. They enhance understanding and generate interest in a product. Advertisements that feature rural relevant settings tend to have a much deeper emotional impact compared to those using urban backdrops. Studies indicate that rural audiences are more likely to remember advertisements for products that are directly relevant to their lives. Therefore, beyond just generating consumer interest, advertisements should aim to depict settings and circumstances that our rural audience is used to and can easily relate to. Asian Paints Utsav campaign, for example, was strategically centered on rural festivals, aiming to increase relevance by coordinating its market efforts with regional events, thus creating strong positive associations. Once the message is designed, step 4, selecting communication channels, comes into play. The communicator must choose efficient channels to deliver this message effectively. Rural communication media channels can be broadly categorized into two types. First, we have conventional media, which is also termed as modern media. This include familiar channels like television, both satellite channels and local cable networks, radio, print media, cinema or theatre, and even word of mouth, which, though traditional in essence, is often discussed alongside conventional reach. Second type we have is non-conventional media. This encompasses a rich variety of localized and culturally embedded channels such as puppetry, other forms of folk media, live demonstrations, and activities centered around huts, local markets, and melas, fairs, and mandis, agricultural markets. We will examine this in turn. Let's delve deeper into conventional media, which includes mass media, outdoor media, and personalized media. Mass media refers to channels that can reach millions of people. However, in rural markets, mass media often faces challenges. These include poor exposure in remote areas and the ineffectiveness of universalized communication, which may not resonate with a diverse, heterogeneous rural audience. First, let's consider radio. Irrespective of literacy levels, geographical location, radio reaches people relatively easily. It continues to be an important part or source of information for many rural individuals, either through habit or choice. While the Indian railway industry was once limited mainly to All India Radio (AIR), the rise of numerous FM radio stations have truly matured radio as a medium for rural communication. Next is television, which is the fastest growing, most powerful and most popular mass media in rural India. With increasing television ownership around 36% and the significant influx of cable and satellite channel in addition to terrestrial TV, this medium is continually gaining new ground in rural areas. It is also important to note that community viewing of television, for instance, watching at neighbor's house, further increases these viewership percentages. Continuing with conventional mass media, we have press or print media. Newspapers form an important part of this in rural areas as they can carry useful and detailed information about products or services. Interestingly, people in rural areas are often more interested in reading regional news, particularly focusing on sensational topics involving politics or crime, rather than national or international news. However, the print media in rural areas still faces significant problems of reach compounding by low literacy levels. Newspapers often don't reach these areas in the morning due to poor infrastructural facilities, and readership is mainly restricted to the educated classes. Community reading is a common practice with places like panchayat offices, tea stalls and barber shops subscribing to newspapers for the villagers. Cinema serves as an important communication media in many parts of the country, thanks to its universal appeal that cuts across geographical and language barriers. Films shown in theaters, especially in southern Indian states, attract large rural audiences, providing an opportunity to spread product information through short advertisement films and cinema slides. However, cinema also has limitation in its reach and impact. Under outdoor media, wall paintings are very popular form of advertising. Rural people appreciate this medium as they can view it whenever they wish. These wall paintings act as a regular reminder of the company's name and symbols. Often emphasizing the main brand promise, they also visually reflect the thriving social and economic life of the area. Brightly painted walls near village, bus stops, movie theaters, banks, post offices, large retail shops, or the panchayat office create a lot of exposure. Lafarge Cement India, for example, used this format innovatively by painting its company emblem on the gate archways in villages during one of its rural activation projects. Now, let's look at personalized media within the conventional category. Point of purchase, POP, displays and demonstrations are the key part of consumer sales promotion and, as the name suggests, take place at the actual point of purchase or sales. These can include items like danglers, display signs and boards, tin plates and display rack or dispensers. However, retailers in rural areas often find it difficult to handle the multitude of displays, signs and posters they receive from companies. This is partly due to the small physical size of their shops and the wide variety of product categories they stock, which can cause overcrowding. Additionally, some retailers may prefer to push local or even bogus products on which they get better profit margins, leading them to avoid prominently displaying pop materials from standard companies. Another powerful, though less formal, personalized media is word of mouth. Marketers have increasingly recognized the immense power of rural word of mouth. It can spread information about a product's quality and performance with incredible speed. This information flows through various channels. People share news at weddings and social events. Relatives visiting from urban or semi-urban areas often introduce consumer items through their lifestyles and knowledge. Dealers and shopkeepers who frequently semi-urban feeder markets bring back information to their communities. In villages, positive word of mouth recommendations significantly boost brand success as a satisfied rural customers become a very credible promoter of product to their family and friends. Given the limitations of mass media activities, particularly in a multilingual and multicultural country like India, non-conventional media plays a vital role. This gap in communication is often filled effectively through these rural-centric media approaches like video vans, campaigns at hats, melas and mandis, and the diverse form of folk media. Let's start with the video van or video rath. The use of video vans has been crucial for executing promotional efforts in rural regions. Many prominent companies such as Tata Tea, LG, Marico, Colgate, TVS and nearly all the agricultural input firms have effectively used this communication tool. Video vans allow companies to convey tailored messages using both audio and video in any required language directly to the targeted audience. A typical video van is equipped with audiovisual equipment and a large LCD screen for films presentations. Importantly, the van is also designed to accommodate product samples, merchandise for sale, and collateral materials like banners and posters, and it is incorporated by skilled staff trained for this purpose. Continuing with non-conventional media, we have huts, often referred to as the mobile supermarket of rural India. The hut is most ancient marketing channel in the country. At a hut, consumers are typically in a purchasing mood, though a average time spent at each stall tends to be shorter than at a mela. This makes huts an excellent venue for campaigns offering discounts and reductions. The hut serves as a primary point of contact with the market, which is essential to the well-being of villagers. It's a place for the exchange of rural surplus, the purchase of daily necessities, agricultural supplies and equipments, and also a space for socio-political and cultural interaction. Next are melas or festivals, which are a very significant aspect of rural life in India. These are usually conducted on a seasonal or annual basis to reminder important events or to pay respect to a deity. Beyond their religious, social and cultural importance, Mela possesses a robust commercial component. For corporations with a pan-India presence, considering Melas as a communication platform, a good strategy is to initially focus on to the top 100 commercial Melas and then transition to micro Melas which offer a limited but highly focused reach. Emphasis should be placed on Melas that persist for an intended period, otherwise resources can become dispersed. Targeting only major national fairs can also lead to communication blockage, as many corporations might be aiming messages at the same audience simultaneously. Similar to hats and melas, mandis or agricultural markets present significant communication opportunities, particularly for companies targeting large and medium scale farmers. In regions such as Punjab and Haryana, where huts market are less prevalent or absent, the extensive networks of mandis facilitate direct interaction with farmers. For instance, up to around 200 farmers daily during the harvest season, marketers of tractors, fertilizers and various durable goods often leverage these platforms. With a vast network of over 7,600 mandis nationwide, these channels provide substantial potential for marketers to engage with often affluent consumers who are inclined to spend. Finally, we came to folk media. This category includes folk music, folk dances, and other stage performances such as street theatre, magic shows, and puppetry. These are all integral part of India's rich history and cultural legacy. Importantly, folk media forms are adaptable. They can effectively convey messages regarding current problems, subjects and concerns involving in response to the need and wants of a changing society. The three main features that make folk media so effective are story, repetition, and interaction. A marketing message can be easily and effectively conveyed by weaving it into a narrative and relatable characteristics and circumstances. Furthermore, folk media has a distinct advantage of using local talent and local language, which help maintain a high value of interest and awareness among the audience. Let's explore some specific type of folk media. First, folk theatre. Complete with song and dance, folk theatre is an easy and enjoyable way to communicate, and it can also instruct. Historically, traditional folk theatres have been used to address social issues such as opposing the British Raj or bringing to light the sufferings of female children. It's often selected as a medium when other approaches like video and advertisements start losing their effectiveness. For example, a performance could present a grassroots workers as a friend and a family planning expert sparking action. Then there are folk songs. These are typically simple compositions that have been orally passed down from one generation to the next. Folk music usually has a steady pace and a straightforward structure, with the music often remaining the same throughout the song's many stanzas. Folk dances are another vibrant form, often religious in their origin. They are essentially straightforward and rhythmic. Communication happens through dramatic gestures and the accompanying music. Folk dances are visually striking, drawing large crowds with their often fancy stage designs and colorful costumes. Continuing with type of folk media, magic shows are the common and popular form of folk entertainment, largely due to their captivating effects and the curiosity they generate. For instance, Britannia used magicians with flowing ribbon in local melas for its tiger Biscuits campaign, telling the audience that the heart beats as fast as the ribbon after eating tiger cookies. Puppet shows or Kathputli are perhaps the most popular folk tradition act. The origins of puppet theatres are strongly associated with the presentation of religious rites, and in almost every Indian state there is a visible link between rituals and puppetry. There are various types of traditional puppetry includes gloves, rods, string rods and shadow puppets. These differ not only in name but also in their shape, structure, method of modification and their geographic origin and distribution. Lastly, interactive games. While not strictly folklore, all popular tools used by advertisers to attract large number of people, games have also been effectively utilized for product testing and to drive on the spot sales. They can be selected to capitalize on regional trends. For example, arm wrestling competition might be used in Punjab and Haryana to attract watchers, but this might not be suitable in West Bengal. Dabur innovatively developed a pinball game where the ball was designed to resemble a Dabur Chyawanprash bottle and the pins symbolized germs that the health tonic would eradicate. Participants could play the game and tally the germs they struck. After selecting the most appropriate communication channels, we arrived at step 5, budgeting for rural communication. This is where the rural marketer determine the financial resources to be allocated. A budget is set aside for the various planned media activities which could include roadshows, wall paintings, campaigns at haats and melas, sales promotion efforts, advertising and so on. The size of this budget and how it is distributed across different activities should be based on an objective analysis of the communication objectives and the specific task required to achieve them. Typically, an estimate is produced based on many actions one intends to carry out and the desired outcome in terms of the exposure levels, product trials and usage rates one anticipates generating. Step 6 involves designing the communication mix strategy. Here, businesses must decide how to allocate their overall communication budget among several distinct communication instruments. These instruments include advertising, sales promotion, direct marketing, public relations, and personal selling. Companies frequently use a combination of one or many of these instruments to create a comprehensive communication bundle tailored to their specific needs. It's crucial to recognize that every communication tool has its own distinct attribute and associated costs. Marketers must thoroughly understand these characteristics to select the most suitable and effective tool or combination of tools for their rural campaigns. Let's look at some key elements of the communication mix. First, advertising, which is a prominent and highly visible form of communication. Its public characteristics often imparts a sense of validity to a product and implies a standardized offering. Advertising is particularly effective when used to establish and increase a long-term brand image for a company or its product. These instruments essentially include incentives such as coupons, competitions, discounts, demonstrations and sampling. While mixed sale promotion tools possesses three distinct characteristics. First is communication. They capture the customer's attention and often include information that can direct the consumers towards the product. Second is incentive. They include concessions, inducements, or donation that provide tangible value to the consumers. And third is invitation. They typically include a specific invitation for the customer to participate in the transaction immediately, for instance, through a live demonstration or product tasting. Another powerful tool is direct marketing. This is one of the most effective strategies for reaching the target market directly on their own territory, thereby increasing sales and raising product awareness. Direct marketing makes it possible to bypass mediator and communicate straight with the consumer. Common direct marketing strategies used in rural regions include direct mailers, mobile networking campaigns, and even vending machines in some contexts. Publicity and image building often achieved through public relations. Public relations are crucial because they generate high credibility. When messages are presented to consumers as news, for example, through news features or articles, readers tend to find them more genuine and trustworthy than visible advertisements, which are clearly sales directed. Finally, there is a personal selling. This method is often the most economical, particularly in the latter phase of the purchasing process, especially when it comes to influencing a buyer's preference. When it comes to influencing a buyer's preferences, beliefs, and behavior, personal selling offers distinct benefits over advertising. These include personal confrontation, and it entails an active, direct, and participatory interaction between two or more people. It also extracts a response. Personal selling gives the impression that the customer has a certain duty to listen to the sales pitch. Even if the buyers answer it just a polite thank you, they still feel a stronger obligation to pay attention and respond to the salesperson. The final step of process is step 7, measuring the impact of communication. Once the communication strategy is put into action, it is absolutely essential to assess how well it resonated with the intended audience. In rural locations where non traditional communication methods are prevalent, the plan's efficacy and impact are often evaluated by comparing controlled and uncontrolled settings. A controlled area refers to locations where the marketer have actively implemented their communication or activation strategies during a specific time period. In contrast, a non controlled area is one where these specific activities have not been done. This comparative study helps determine the effectiveness of rural non conventional communication media by measuring the influence on key metrics. These metrics can include the overall footfall at retail outlets or at Hudson Mela stalls, the number of inquiries generated, and ultimately the sale proceeds during a certain time frame. This data driven approach is vital for refining future strategies. That brings us to the end of this session. We have explored all the key learning objectives, gaining valuable insights along the way. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, happy learning and best of luck ahead.